Okay. Apparently, I did not realize there was no volume to the video I just posted. So I am re-recording this. Which means I probably do not have time to post a second. 11:29. I will probably have time to post another video to make up for that. So, I'm going to... Okay. There should be volume to this. I'm checking my mic. Alright. It should be fine. But I'm going to cut it and check to make sure. So there is going to be a cut here. I am telling you guys this now. Okay. I just checked it. The recording is fine, but I kind of went on a little bit of a rant that was longer than I thought when talking about this, so I cut that out. But to address an issue, I named the city Aldridge because someone got confused as to why I named a city after a planet or something from Star Wars. Horikoshi is a Star Wars fan, and apparently they did not know that. Yeah, he's drawn parallels to it before, so that's why I just named the city after something in Star Wars. Now, Deku and Toga. Stop yawning. Jesus. Deku and Toga are actually going... Deku and Toga are actually going to be going to Endeavor's agency. Now, whenever they arrive, this is when for Toga. Well, Todoroki, Toga, and Deku, they're all there. Todoroki would be talking about how he's only took this agency because of how... And then he would go into the whole explanation. And Endeavor would then just welcome them, but he's being a jerk about it. And he would then meet with Deku, saying that personally he wants to see where he stands. So not only will he fight both of these two, but he wants her to copy Todoroki's quirk so that it will be a better fight. Now, after saying this, okay, sorry about that. It's getting pretty loud in my house. Anyways, so Toga would take a blood sample from Todoroki and copy his quirk. Now, after doing so, her and Deku are... Go on, stop yawning. Deku then fight against Toga and Todoroki. He's using about 30% of full Cowling. He's fighting with them and he's actually holding them off, if not actually pushing ground or gaining ground against them. This is when Deku, not only would he beat Todoroki, but he'd also beat Toga. And Endeavor would be impressed, saying that he didn't think that someone like him, well, he didn't think he would win. Deku would just say he doesn't care what he thinks, and he's only here to make sure you don't do what you did to him again. Along with the fact that this agency is also close to a friend of his, and he didn't see him right in the head last time he saw him. Toga would then say that, well, of course he isn't because his brother got injured, if not crippled by the hero killer. Deku would then realize what's going on, as he would say, so that means that idiot's out for revenge. And Endeavor hearing this, he would say that that kid you're talking about won't go after that guy alone, so Okay, that was loud. So, he should be fine, because there's heroes all over the city. There's no possible way he can get caught alone. Later that day. Anyways. Oh, God. Sorry. Now then. Anyways. After fighting and sparring a lot with them and actually having Toga copy Todoroki's quirk more and more, this is whenever they would then later go on patrol, and Endeavor is just saying that they need to look out and actually make sure. They need to be very observant and always be on guard, because he has that Vegeta vibe to him, so he's more tense than anything else, and All Might being able to actually be cheery, happy, and flexible basically makes him Goku. You know what I mean? Now, after that, this is whenever... Oh, my arm just popped. And there goes my other one. Anyways, this is whenever they would be on patrol, and they would then later find out that... Well, Deku would then get a message from Ida saying that he needs backup, he's too underprepared for this, and Deku would immediately just activate full Cowling, grab Toga, and start running. Todoroki would have saw this and actually joined them. Now, Endeavor, he would have saw them running, and he turned around to ask them a question as to where they were going and what they were doing. Todoroki would just say that he'll message him when they get there, but their friend needs help. As Endeavor would start running in their direction, he would then be tackled by a Nomu. Now, while that's going on, cut back to the hero fight. Oh, God. Now then. Oh my God, I did not pause the recording for that. Never mind. Hang on. Okay, I'm back. I am sorry for pausing so much during this recording. My dad will not stop yelling. It's very annoying. I can hear him from downstairs. He likes to be very, very volumetric. Now then. It's annoying. Toga and Deku would then meet up with Ida, as Deku would actually come in and actually kick the hero killer in the face as he was about to stab Ida in his arm. Now, as this is going on, Todoroki would then start running down the alley as Toga would pop a blood pill, actually mimicking Todoroki's quirk and using it against the hero killer. The hero killer would actually have to be more defensive and actually start dodging and moving different ways, because Toga is actually on the other side of the alley and Todoroki just walked into the other. So they're essentially able to cage him somewhat by putting up walls. Now, after this is one of her Toga. She would try using her fire, and so would Todoroki. So they would try and sandwich Stain in a wall, two walls of fire. But that would not work, as he would then go to dodge, and Deku would attack, actually taking down the hero killer relatively easily, because he would have just gone for a giant punch, and punching someone at about 20% of full cowling, trying to not kill them, would be very difficult. No. Crap. Now then. Back to... Everyone would find out about this. Ida would be scolded, but they would actually be praised for actually making sure they didn't get injured themselves and actually taking out someone a lot of pro heroes could not take down. Now, for the heroes versus villains, or the heroes versus students versus teachers, kinda, it would be Toga and Deku versus All Might. Everyone would hear about this, and Deku would just immediately look at All Might, saying that this is not going to end well for either of them, is it? All Might just shaking his head, saying, no, it will not. It will not end well for either of you two. Deku is saying, oh, I was referring to you and me. We are probably both going to end up in Recovery Girl's office by the end of this. All Might would say that he does not see that happening. Now, he would then say that go get dressed and we will all start fighting. Now, Deku and Toga would change into their hero outfits, and this is whenever they would actually go and get ready. So they're at the starting line. They would then walk into the city as All Might would throw a Detroit Smash, sending a shockwave their way. Deku would just cancel out with his own, actually making two buildings collapse whenever their two punches collide. Kirishima is crying mainly tears because that was amazing, and Ida's impressed. So is Bakugo, but he's trying not to show it. Now then, this is whenever Deku would tell Toga that this is going to be a bit different because he doesn't think that you can copy All Might's quirk. She would say that she doesn't, or she knows, but she can still try. As Deku would tell her that for now, just turn into him and copy his reaction speed. She would do so, and then after that, she would be helping Deku. She's able to dodge and react to All Might somewhat. She's able to narrowly avoid like heavy hits, but she's still taking a little bit of damage. Now, Deku and All Might would actually be fighting and they would get in a clash. All Might's telling Deku that he has him on the ropes and he's still holding back. Deku would then tell him that he's not going to be holding back for long, as he would charge up One For All in his face and immediately smash his forehead into All Might's nose, actually breaking it. Now, Deku would then say that, he's been getting creative with his quirk because you never know when you need it. He would then start jumping around, actually trying to get All Might to be confused. And as soon as that would happen, he would actually go in and attack All Might in the back. He'd go for kneecaps, he'd go for arms, he's going for the face, he's going for the eyes. Just playing dirty. After that, All Might would have immediately grabbed Deku by the leg and actually just swung him overhead, smashing him into the ground. Now, Deku and All Might would be fighting for a long time, and Toga would actually go to escape while they are basically tearing apart a city. Deku would then charge up One For All to about 70 to 85%, and while doing so, he would have bum rushed All Might, actually bringing out both of his arms as he would launch himself towards him, actually smashing himself in All Might's chest. Doing this would have actually gotten All Might to cough up quite a bit of blood, as he would continue fighting with Deku. Now, doing that kind of punched a bit of All Might's power out of him, you can say. So, he was able to keep up his buff form for a bit, but that probably took off like 5 or 10 minutes of it, which is not good either way. Since that happened, All Might would have been throwing Deku around, trying to do all that. Deku would be ragdolling, and he would eventually be punched through a building. Now, as soon as All Might punched Deku through a building, Deku was actually shouting in pain, as he would then get up and pull a piece of rebar out of his arm, actually throwing it towards All Might like a spear and charging at All Might. All Might would somewhat be able to grab it and actually throw it to the side, or he would just like slap it away, and they would continue fighting. Everyone's watching this brawl as Deku and All Might essentially just keep going back and forth with punches, throwing each other through buildings. And Deku would have immediately got his ribs cracked by All Might after getting kicked through another set of buildings. They're commenting on how there's a lot of buildings being destroyed, and these two are essentially just throwing around their power towards each other. It's somewhat focused, but they're more worried about breaking everything around them. So it seems like they're still holding back. As I was saying, no, that's not the case. In fact, they're trying to throw around their power as much as possible. So then, after that, this is when Deku, he would immediately get up and he would get angry, saying that All Might's holding back whenever he knows he can't do that for much longer. So take off those weights and fight me properly. All Might would ask Nezu, and Nezu would give him the go-ahead, and All Might would immediately take them off and blitz Deku. As soon as Deku would see him disappear, he would hear All Might's footstep behind him, and immediately dodge to the left, or duck. Either one, as he would then turn around and actually uppercut All Might up through into the air, and then just come up flying, or jump as high as he can, coming up, actually smashing All Might back into the ground. Now, he would have actually done a super suplex. What I mean by that is he would have jumped up behind All Might, grabbing him by the waist, and immediately just leaning back as hard as he can. Now, when doing that, Deku actually aimed for the edge of a building. So he would have sent All Might flying through half of the building, basically ripping out a single concentrated area, while he remained beside the building. Everyone would have seen that and just say that that was not only impressive, it was very creative. Anyway, I made that up I'm like right on the spot actually, I'm surprised. Okay. Deku and All Might are fighting, and Deku's huffing and puffing while All Might is actually barely breaking a sweat. All Might's telling Deku that he's not going to get past him and he's going to fail. And Deku was saying he is not, as his eyes would begin to glow red again. And All Might would see this and tell him that he needs to stop and calm down. Deku would say he's fine, as he would then start throwing 100% around at All Might. Which is basically at the point where he's not breaking his bones, but it's more strain than he should put on his body. Because he's at around 70% comfortably, 80% uncomfortably, 90% is muscle strain, so 100% should be actual muscle tears. So he's actually doing this, and he's just throwing 100%, breaking and smashing every building around them, and it would get to the point where Deku's actually unable to even lift his arms up. All Might would then say that it was a valiant effort, and he would then walk over to Deku saying that, but he failed. Deku would immediately bring his leg up, kicking All Might in the face, knocking out quite a few teeth, and he would then start running over to the exit. As that's happening, All Might would then start running towards Deku, somewhat shaking off a concussion, actually knocking him to the ground, saying that he showed off, or he used up too much of his power and he just focused on fighting him. Now him and Toga are going to fail. Deku would say that you're forgetting that Toga's not even here anymore, as she would then pop out from the exit saying hi to All Might, waving. All Might would look at her, and as soon as he took his eyes away from Deku, Deku charged up one for all in the back of his leg, the very ball of his foot, actually bringing up, smashing All Might in the leg, kind of sending him flying over him toward the exit. After that, Deku would have immediately taken this chance and just run straight out. All Might's saying that he's quite impressed, and he's probably going to have to go to Recovery Girl for a concussion. And you're going to have to go to Recovery Girl because you can't even lift your arms anymore, right? He's saying yes, so it looks like he was right then. As he would then fall over, not being able to move. Toga would actually pick him up and take him over to Recovery Girl and get him properly healed. Recovery Girl's saying that with your quirk, she's surprised you're not in here more often. Which is basically my jab at Canon. Now, I just realized how much better I actually made this one, so I'm actually kind of glad that one got messed up. Because I actually made this fight a bit more interesting. So, it's not all bad. Anyways, everyone's on the bus, and a lot of people are giving Deku a compliment on how that fight was impressive, and he even tapped into that power again. Deku's asking what they mean, and they would say that your eyes turned red again, or your eyes started glowing again. Which is basically Deku's quirk. Deku's quirk, it evolved to the point where his eyes, it's more effective for them and less strainful to actually just start bringing everything in at the speed of light. Which is not basically saying he can see things at the speed of light. It's just saying that it's his quirk going at full power, which is 30 milliseconds. Which basically can actually hurt the optic nerves, so them producing that light is actually them refracting the light back off of themselves to stop them from blinding themselves. That is a very scientific explanation, which is probably very accurate. Now, oh wow. Anyways, after that is whenever Deku would then explain his quirk a bit more, and they would all get off the bus. After people were talking about their quirks and giving a lot of different explanations as to how they work, and yeah, Toga and Deku are then actually on the cliffside, and Toga's asking Deku if he can kiss her, or if she can kiss him. And as soon as they would have actually come together, the Pussycats would immediately just blow them off the side of the blow them off the side of the cliff, actually breaking up their little couple spout. Couples, I would say affair, but that's not right. Well, breaking an end to the couple. Now, I'm probably going to have to check YouTube because some people are probably still on that page that I just deleted. I just deleted that upload, so I'm going to check it. At this point, I sounded very weird saying that. At this point, Toga and Deku would actually start fighting through a lot of the monsters with everyone else. And since the fact that 3 kids from 1B are here, 2 of them have useful quirks at this point, they would have gotten there about an hour, not 2 hours or 3 hours, or how long it took in canon. And the fact that Deku is essentially an All Might, or a Prime All Might, if not beyond that. So, he's quite powerful. After this, they would arrive at camp, and everyone would be looking around, and the Pussycats would be quite impressed, saying that they barely made it in time to get any dinner. So, they would then start making their own food, and yeah, Deku knows how to cook, but he's not like a master chef. Anyway, guys, I'm going to be leaving this off of here, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Catch you guys later.